Ferrari have made a huge blunder that will haunt them for a long time. Formula One is all about quick decisions that can either make or break a team's chances. Sadly, Ferrari's recent choices haven't done them any favors in their quest for the ultimate prize in F1, the drivers' and constructors' titles. What exactly did Ferrari do, and why is it such a wrong move? Let's dive into the details. If you were to ask any Ferrari enthusiast about their take on the team's performance in the 2024 F1 season so far, they'd likely express satisfaction. Currently, Ferrari finds themselves in a commendable second place in the Constructors' Championship, trailing just 4 points behind Red Bull. And the credit for this remarkable position goes to none other than Carlos Sainz. At the Australian Grand Prix, Carlos Sainz seized the opportunity presented by Max Verstappen's retirement, clinching Ferrari's first race win since the Singapore 2023 GP. However, despite this stellar performance, Sainz's days at Ferrari are numbered, as the Spanish driver is set to step aside to make room for the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton. Ferrari confirmed the signature of Lewis Hamilton ahead of the F1 2024 campaign, with the move taking effect from 2025. This was a significant move for Ferrari because they'd been looking for a driver who could live up to their impressive history, especially since they'd been struggling on the racetrack lately. It's been a while since they had a driver who won the World Championship, with Kimi Räikkönen being the last one back in 2007. So getting Hamilton on board seemed like the perfect solution to their problems. At first, a lot of people thought it was a great move for Ferrari. Hamilton is a highly decorated driver with a lot of experience, so it seemed like he could help turn things around for the team. But now some people are starting to have doubts. Recent events have made them wonder if bringing in Hamilton was really the right decision for Ferrari. In 2023, Sainz showed everyone what he could do. Even though he ended up with almost the same number of points as Leclerc, he had some really great races. He proved that he's one of the best drivers out there, especially when things get tough. Securing pole position at Monza was more than just a moment for Carlos Sainz. It was a declaration in front of Ferrari's devoted tifosi, particularly given Charles Leclerc's reputation as a qualifying expert. Sainz's performance against Max Verstappen in the race's early stages was equally remarkable, displaying unwavering determination in his defense, even though defeat was inevitable. But nothing beats Sainz's win in Singapore. It was probably the best weekend of his F1 career. He was amazing from start to finish, especially when the race got intense towards the end. He led a group of 4 cars fighting for the win, and his clever move to let Lando Norris slow down George Russell surprised everyone, even his own engineer. This year has been fantastic for Sainz. He finished 3rd in Bahrain and won the Australian Grand Prix despite just recovering from an appendix operation. It's incredible how he bounced back so quickly. Now there's no telling which Ferrari driver will do better each weekend. That's a significant change from before, when Leclerc usually outshone Sainz. On the other hand, Lewis Hamilton, who's going to replace Sainz at Ferrari, hasn't had a great season. After the first 3 races of 2024, Hamilton is only in 10th place in the championship with just 8 points. He's been having a tough time lately, with his last podium finish being in Mexico City in 2023. Since then, he hasn't finished higher than 7th in any race, which is the worst streak of his entire career. During the Australian Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton faced a rare setback when his Mercedes engine failed after completing just 16 laps. This unexpected issue forced him to retire from the race early. Unfortunately, this retirement was the result of a challenging weekend for Hamilton, which began with a disappointing performance in qualifying. He was eliminated in the second qualifying session, Q2, marking his worst grid position at Albert Park since the year 2010. Despite his illustrious career, Hamilton's performance has faltered, with his teammate George Russell often outshining him on the track. Russell's dominance is evident in their qualifying head-to-head record, where he has secured a 3-0 advantage over Hamilton at the start of the season. Moreover, Russell finished ahead of Hamilton in the first 2 races, showcasing his prowess behind the wheel before encountering retirement in Australia. This decline in Hamilton's performance has prompted discussions regarding Ferrari's decision to replace Carlos Sainz with Hamilton for the 2025 season. At 39 years old, Hamilton is over a decade older than Sainz, raising concerns about his longevity in the sport. Former Formula One driver Christian Danner expressed skepticism about Ferrari's choice, suggesting that they may have made a wrong choice in opting for Hamilton over Sainz. Danner emphasized the speed and potential of Sainz, stating, "If you want Hamilton, you've kept the wrong one because he, Sainz, is faster, but that's highly political." He further questioned the timing of Ferrari's decision, suggesting that they may have rushed into it prematurely. Danner admired Sainz's current form, highlighting his commitment, enthusiasm, and aggressive driving style. Reflecting on Sainz's impact at Ferrari, Danner remarked, "At the moment, Carlos Sainz is messing everything up at Ferrari. First of all, you've signed the wrong driver for next year. Hamilton is behind. He, Sainz, is much better." At Ferrari, there seems to be a perception among some that Charles Leclerc stands head and shoulders above Carlos Sainz, creating an impression of a significant gap between the two drivers. However, the stats tell a different story. Firstly, let's look at how they perform in qualifying. Leclerc is really quick when it comes to just one lap. He's gotten 23 pole positions, which is impressive even though Ferrari's car isn't always the fastest. Leclerc has beaten Sainz 41 times in qualifying, showing he's usually faster. But the difference in their times is really small. On average, Leclerc is only a tiny bit faster than Sainz. In 2021, the difference was just 0.043 seconds, and in 2022, it was 0.038 seconds. Even as of the Australian Grand Prix, Leclerc's average advantage over Sainz stands at just 0.05 seconds. So while Leclerc is usually quicker, it's not by much. Now let's talk about the races. Leclerc has won more races than Sainz, 5-3, but they've each won 3 times since they became teammates in 2021. How they won those races is interesting. Leclerc's wins mostly happened in 2022 when Ferrari had the fastest car, resulting in dominant pole-to-flag wins in Bahrain, Australia, and Austria. Conversely, Sainz's wins have been characterized by strategic brilliance and defensive prowess. His first win at Silverstone came after managing damage and strategy intricacies, while his second victory in Singapore saw him expertly fend off faster Mercedes rivals. Notably, Sainz's recent win at the Australian Grand Prix showcased his flawless performance in holding off Leclerc and McLaren drivers from a second-place grid position. While Leclerc shines when the car suits his preferences, Sainz steps up to the plate in challenging situations, ensuring that Ferrari remains competitive throughout the season. As the 2024 season progresses, Sainz remains determined to challenge the likes of Max Verstappen and Red Bull, despite uncertainties about his future. The upcoming Japanese Grand Prix will provide a clearer indication of Ferrari's performance. This circuit, with its mix of fast corners, slow corners, and straights, offers a true representation of a team's performance and acts as a crucial transition to the races in Europe. Reflecting on last season's Japanese Grand Prix, that weekend was a memorable one for Red Bull. Max Verstappen dominated the race, clinching pole position and sealing victory. Now, as teams prepare for Suzuka, there's a sense of anticipation. Ferrari and McLaren, motivated by their strong performances in previous races, are hopeful. Despite Red Bull's recent successes in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, their setback in Melbourne shows that anything can happen, especially on a track like Suzuka. This uncertainty is why Verstappen's rivals see Japan as a chance to strike back. If Ferrari can challenge and even defeat Red Bull on this renowned circuit, it could signal a shift in the championship battle. But Red Bull remains a formidable opponent. Verstappen, determined to bounce back from his disappointment in Australia, is confident in his abilities at Suzuka. With his sights set on victory, he's ready to face whatever challenges come his way. However, the weather adds another element of unpredictability. Rain is forecasted for the race weekend, which could shake up the competition even more. Teams like Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, and Aston Martin see this as an opportunity to capitalize and fight for the win. Let us know your thoughts on the decisions made by Ferrari and what could happen in Japan. Stay tuned for more updates as we dive more and more into the F1 season.